Most farmers today feel like their finances are controlling them, not the other way around. You may be stressed, unsure, or even embarrassed about where the money has gone. But here's the truth. The top 1% of farmers in this country run their finances completely different from every other farmer around them. And inside of today's video, I'm going to show you exactly what they do and how you can start taking these actions inside of your own operation so that you can finally take back control. All right, so let's jump into step number one. The top 1% of farmers are great at removing emotion. This is the one thing that they always leave at the door because they understand stepping into running a multi-million-dollar operation or trying to build a multi-million-dollar operation, leaning on their emotions is never going to get them where they want to be. And ultimately, it's going to cost them a lot more in the short term and in the long run than leaning on the facts and being strategic and calculated with their financial decisions. But this isn't just about finances. We're going to talk about that. But this also means removing emotions across every area of your business when it comes to leading your team or communicating with your people and things like that as well. It's across every part of the business. And one thing that they do understand is that the facts are the facts. Right? There's nothing they can do about it. They might as well just accept what they are. And now they're going to either adjust their strategy or make different decisions going forward. But here's the deal, guys. I have seen over the years, again, working with hundreds of family farm operations, the number of people that have literally wasted years of their life because they're stuck in emotions. They're stuck in emotions and they continue this cycle over and over inside of their own minds where they're trying to justify their decision or ultimately justify their mistake and the feelings that come along with it. And this type of cycle here is where a lot of people are caught in because we're so emotionally attached to the farm operation, which I get it. There's a lot of emotion in what we do in Legacy Farm. We're trying to protect the future of agriculture, one family farm at a time. That's our mission statement there, right? So we're trying to protect families. But at the end of the day, I still have to run Legacy Farmer like a business and leave emotions at the door and make sure when I'm stepping in to lead my team, direct finances, and make big decisions about the business and where we're heading in the future, I have to be on point. And again, over the years, we've had farmers that have come in and they've literally not changed or evolved at all inside of their operation, whether it's their business itself or them as a leader and business owner. They haven't evolved at all because they've been so trapped in this self-made prison trying to analyze and justify their emotions, which ultimately leads to them justifying their mistakes and things like that as well. This is a trap, and you need to understand if you're stuck in this type of a scenario day in and day out, and you're trapped inside of your own head, and the stories are just consuming you, and you're living on your emotions and making decisions on your emotions and things like that, you will never build the business or the life that you ultimately want to, because one day or another, those emotions are going to cost you everything. And here's the hard truth. The longer that you avoid a painful reality, the tougher that God is going to make your life going forward. I truly believe that because it was part of my own experience as well. And I've talked about this with our members that have come into Legacy Farm over the years, and all of them have resonated with it. Because the thing is, if you have stresses in your life right now, which are leading to emotions, it's most likely because there's something happening inside of your life, whether it's finances or people or family or whatever it could be there, that you know is a massive problem, but you just want to sweep it under the rug, right? You just want time to heal all things and just avoid it and hope that it just takes care of itself on its own, when the reality is you know damn well that God is going to bring that problem right back to your face at some point in the future. And again, it's going to be even more painful and it's going to be at the completely wrong time and things like that. So the top 1% as well, they don't look at these painful problems as something they want to avoid. They have the courage to go ahead and step into them head on because they know that if that problem is showing up in their life, God is putting it there for a reason. And the longer they avoid it, the more painful God is going to make that lesson going forward. Now, the thing is, inside a Legacy Farmer, everything that we built out, the tools, the systems inside of our software called Farmer Metrics are doing one key thing for our members, removing emotions, right? Removing the fear, exposing what the facts are. And those facts turn into a guiding light for exactly what those members need to do going forward inside of their business. Now, what to do going forward may not be easy, but what's the alternative? All right, so now moving into step number 2, the top 1% of farmers have the courage to take action when 99% of people won't. Now, this goes back to a little bit about what I talked about just in the previous point there around when God is exposing these problems and these challenges or these situations in your life, he is telling you exactly what you need to do in order to get to where you want to go. But the thing is, a lot of people, we're not taught, trained, and conditioned to look at it this way. Growing up, we typically are taught to run away from problems and things like that versus facing them head on. And it also too, it's just a natural characteristics as a human being. I totally get that. But once you change your frame and perspective on what these painful problems mean inside of your life and inside of your business, it's going to change how you act. And the thing is, the faster you have the courage to solve those painful problems, the quicker you're going to get down the road and go along in your journey, the faster God's going to be able to open more doors for you. Just things are going to come together that much faster, right? But a lot of people, they'll never get there because they just want to avoid the painful problem there. And I'll use my dad and my granddad as an example. My dad and my granddad would have blow up fights all the time back in the day inside of the feed yard there. And the thing is they would just not talk about it afterwards. So what's interesting is they'd work together every day, maybe for the next 30 days, and not say one word to each other. Right? Again, just hoping and praying that time heals all wounds and things like that. But the problem is, once our feed yard went under and the entire family went out of business, all the skeletons and all the emotions and all the things that people wish they would have said started to come out, which made the next 3 to 5 years after the operation went under even more painful because all those things came to a head. And again, all of this could have been avoided if my dad would have just had the courage to have that painful conversation there with my granddad and vice versa, right? And again, I'm not knocking my dad or my granddad. This is true for everybody. It's true for me as well. There's been certain things in my life that I've wanted to avoid because the emotion and the pain of dealing with it was too big in my own mind. The reality is though, and what my experiences have taught me, the more that I avoid that and don't find the courage inside of myself to take action when a majority of people won't, the more painful that problem is going to become going forward. And here's the deal. If you're watching this video and you're automatically thinking of additional problems and challenges that you know you've avoided, and you're thinking through how by avoiding them, maybe you've done it several times by now, and how they become bigger problems and more painful problems in your life now as well. So consider the possibility that it's not Jace saying this to you, that you need to take action on those things. It's actually God going through Jace as the messenger, trying to get you to find the courage to take action. And I understand it's a weird concept to think about, but once I started to understand this, all the people in my life that have really shifted my journey and my perspective on life, in a way, I look at them the exact same way. God was using them as a messenger to once again hold up a mirror to me in my own life, expose a problem, and try to get me to take action. It's just crazy when you start to change your worldview on this and your perspective on how God is trying to take action in all of our lives. But I fully believe some of the videos that I see online or some of the podcasts that I listen to, there's certain messages in there. It's like, man, the timing of this message couldn't be more perfect, which means, was it divine timing? And to me, that answer is always going to be yes. Now, if you're in a place where you're finally ready to leave emotions at the door, get clear on what the facts are, and build a strategy off of those facts going forward, this is exactly what we do with our members inside of Legacy Farmer. We provide them with the tools, the systems, and the processes there to give them the clarity they need and find out exactly what they need to do inside of their operation. And then we hold them accountable to making sure it becomes a reality for them. And today, I want to push you to face that reality. Leave your emotions at the door and remember to take the painful steps now. Because you know, and I know, that waiting or pushing it off is only going to make it 10 times more painful later.